What's going on YouTube? This is B-Boy Torg 1990, and right now this is my Spike Bros deck profile, the Rising Nova version. Yeah, I did say I was gonna make some deck profile, but it was supposed to be Mega Colonies, but I want to try Spike Bros first because the new set G Set 9 is gonna come out later after G Set 8, like in December. Yeah, December. So it's probably better. Like, why not just show love for Rising Novas, because this is like my favorite Spike Bros deck. I mean, I wanted to build this deck before. I just didn't have like enough funds for the cards like Picaro, Miracle Ace, and the others, because I only had pulled like one Miracle Ace, one Rising Nova. I had Wing Killer, I had a lot of things, but I had most commons and rares and stuff like that. So enough of me blabbing on. I'm gonna get to the profile. So, I mean, I don't play both of these decks. These are just starters I could start out with. You can play Mecha Trainer, you can play Mecha Analyzer. It's all player preference. But me personally, I kind of like Mecha Trainer more because I get to search out the grade ones I do need in my hand. Like if I already have the perfect guard, I already got a Stride Enabler, but I want like say I want Frog Raider, so I could get these so I could like set up my Miracle Ace turns. Well, I like Mecha Analyzer. It's good too. Like if you have a unit that is not charged, and you brought out a unit that was charged, and then it goes back in the deck. Put this out. Put the unit that was not charged. It comes back, and you can, and it will become charged. And plus you've put it with the Frog Raider behind. It makes it even better. It gets your plays even better. So yeah. So either or, you can play either these two. Just don't play both. Just play one or the other. So I'm gonna start with my grade threes. Yeah, so much glare. My room's pretty bright. So for grade threes, this is a Rising Nova deck, so you definitely gotta play 4 Rising Novas. Yes, none of them are SPs, so that's a sad thing, but that's fine as long as I have the cards I need them. Anyways, so yeah, Rising Nova. Basically, his GB2 skill is, if I'm correct, okay. If he's attacking, put a card in your soul, from your hand to the soul, and you search for any unit and call to the field to an open rear guard circle. That's awesome. So if you can't strike, at least you can pull off plays just by him attacking, and you got Frog Raider, etc., etc. You got combos. You can get some combos. Now, his stride skill is like when there's a unit that strides on him. So if he attack, you can counterblast 1, put a card in your hand to the soul, and get to search for any rear unit and put it into rear guard circle, and it gains 5k. That's amazing. You put that for. You can set up a lot of things. You can go Cobalt Impulse, it becomes 14k. You can retire something. And if you have Frog Raider behind, that's even better. So like you already used, like say a Wing Killer attacks, you get Counterblast 1. You put, say, Cobalt Impulse or Devil Stand, Stand Trigger behind Frog Raider. I mean, in front of Frog Raider. Then Frog Raider boosts it gets big, and you can unflip everything, etc., etc. Yeah. So yeah, he's one of my favorite grade. He is my favorite grade 3. In fact, he's my favorite Spike Bros unit overall, because he's an exceptional expertise, and he's getting a stride form in G Set 10, which I am super excited for, because that unit looks like it is gonna rip through everything. So I'm not sure what his skills yet, but I'm so psyched for it. Next is 2 Hive Makers. This is the backup grade 3. Basically, it's like the Liddy clone. You ride him, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, check the top 5, find a unit that has a charge, and you put it to your hand and shuffle the rest back. He's a great, but his GB1, and he's a rear guard. If he is put back to the deck, counterblast 1, get a card from your hand, and put it to an open rearguard circle. This is super good for units like Axe Divers, and it says just any card. It doesn't have to be a charge unit. So if you don't have Wing Killers, get a Wing Killer play. If none of your units are charged, get an Axe Diver. This unit is really, really good to play. Although I only play 2. That's fine, 2 is good. And then 2 Dobe. It's Dobe. Nothing more, nothing less. He just gets huge when he's charging. That's it. And a lot of times your opponent is gonna guard this. Unless they're Kagro, Denial Griffin it. But nonetheless, Dobe is scary to try to guard up against. Now that's my grade 3s. Onto my grade 2s. I play 4 Wing Killers. This just basically, if I'm at GB1, she's the Amber clone. Basically, you put a soul in your hand, put a card from your hand to the soul, you find a unit, put it on an open rearguard circle, gains 5k. It's the grade 2 version of Rising Nova, but it only works as a rearguard. Next, I play 2 Axe Divers. I'm just testing 2 Axe Divers, but what I like about Axe Diver is, like, when he's charged, he comes by, he's going to, like, you just Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, put a unit from your field to the bind zone, and then they bring him back. And so let's say you have a unit that has charge units. He basically helps them charge. Because it says it doesn't matter as long as they gain from the rear guard, they get to rear guard circle, no matter where. They will charge. Because it's set in charging, if the rear guard is placed on if the unit is placed on rear guard base due to an effect, it charges, and when it's done charging, it goes to the bottom of the deck. And on top of that, if he's charging, not only does it bring a unit that comes back, it gives him 5k. This is really good to make your units that haven't charged become bigger. So if you have Heebwees and it wasn't charged, comes back, it's gonna be, instead of 19, it's gonna be 24 if he's charging. So I would not underestimate Axe Diver, but I can also love the fact that we're getting the grade 2 for G-Set 10 is Lethal Forward. That card looks really amazing. Next, it's Heebwee. Is 3 Heebwees I play. It's basically the grade 2 version of Bulldozer Dobe. It just only gains 10k, and this is just a 9k, so it'll just be 19k if it's charging, etc. Works well with Axe Diver though. Works really well. And last but not least, wait, hold up. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was stuck with my Heebwees. 2 Cobalt Impulse. Basically, when he charges, if he hits, he gets to retire a unit. This card puts pressure on your opponents, because you don't want your opponents normally wouldn't want any of their units to retire. So if the heat comes out, they are basically going to guard him, because if he hits, he is going to retire something, and that's the scary part about him. So honestly, like, I really like him, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep him, because when G-Set 10 comes out and Lethal 4 comes out, I might either replace him or the Axe Divers. It depends. So but I'm going to play test out, and so far I like this card a lot. So that's my grade 2s. Now my grade 1s. 4 Charge Perfect Guards, because the Miracle Ace turns, this card is live. You might as well just play her instead of Alma's, because you have this Sand Trigger that unflips itself, so that unflips for you, so it helps out. 3 Stride Enablers. I mean, you don't need to go. I mean, you could play 4 if you want, but I'm just gonna play 3 because I don't want to clunk my hand with just Stride Enablers. Then I play 3 Frog Raiders, basically the grade 1 MVP of this Rising Nova deck, because it just restands whenever a charge unit comes back to him in the same column as him. And Miracle Ace turn, this card is gonna go nuts because he's just gonna get bigger every time you return a charge unit goes back to the deck, and he gains 5k for that from Miracle Ace, and just restands when you have a with Miracle Ace turn. So with Miracle Ace turn, this card is deadly. Then I play 2 Bootmaker Neon Rooks. This is really good. If it's charging, you want this behind Windkiller, not only just to be bigger, but it's, yeah, just for a bigger attack. Just be a big booster. And once he goes back, you can give a unit 4k. So do that. You get Miracle Ace turn, you got Frog Raider, give the 4k extra to, so you give 9k to Frog Raider because it's going back to the deck, and Miracle Ace skill, he gets 5k to a unit if anything goes back in the deck, and he goes back in the deck, he gets 4k to the unit. So Neon Rug, really good. And this is something I think should be, and this one, Medical Manager, for the to soul charge early as possible, because you need, when you want to do the Miracle Ace turn, you need a lot of soul. So he's really good. Rearguard or Vanguard, you want him. He'll soul charge for you. Then now, that was my grade 1s. Onto my triggers. I play 6 crit triggers, 3 on flips, 3 Rising Nova crits, 4 draw triggers, 2, oh there you are, 2 stand triggers, the Devil Watch stand triggers, the one that unflips and soul charges when it gains 2k if it charges, and obviously 4 heals. So that's my triggers. Now onto my grade 4s. So I play 4 Miracle Ace, basically the finisher of the deck. This one combined with Frog Raider, like I said before when I spoke about Frog Raider, it will probably give you a game, because one, they're gonna have to, they will lose a lot of guard when you keep Soul Blasting 2 and bringing in charge units behind, in front of Frog Raider. So I don't need to go further explaining it. 2 Dirty Picaros. I mean, it's Dirty Picaro. There will be times that you might need to, like, get units out when you don't have enough units to bring in. So, and it's 2 counterblast 2 and stuff. So yeah, that's not much to further explain. It's Dirty Picaro. 2 Flash Bruises, because it's just the on hit I get to bring anybody. It helps. Another on hit, but it brings only charge units. I play 2 on hit ones. 1 Centurion, because what's unique about him is it makes units become charge just for 1 counterblast. So it's good if you have like a Dobe, a Heave Weeze, a Cobalt Impulse, but don't bring Axe Diver. As much as it's good to charge, but it's not gonna bring bring his skill to full effect. Like, it's not gonna make it live up to the potential it can really do with combos. So just only 1 of him is good. Then 1 Sea Breeze, so in case of grade 2 game, and 4 of the Spike Rose G Guardians. I made changes to 2 Dismals, or 1 Screw, 1 Dismal, and 2 Spike Rose G Guardians, but right now, so far, I like this more because I don't want to discard my hand that often with Screw, or there's not that many units to kill off because they go back to the deck anyways, because most of them are charge. So yeah. So this is my Rising Nova Spike Brothers deck profile, and I'm going to do Darkface Mega Colony soon. So this is B-Boy Turk 1990 saying deuces.